So, guys, have you ever had that one family member who always thinks that they are better than the rest of the family and that their kids are the only ones who are supposed to, get ahead in life? Okay, let me tell you a story. So, within this particular family, there is one well-to-do relative, right? And this relative has three kids, and she is married and her husband has a good job, right? And she has a good job as well. So she has a sister who passed away, and that sister that passed away has a few kids. So these kids and that sister, she wasn't well off, so those kids kind of struggled a little bit in life. Now, of those kids, there is this one particular niece who had some kids of her own, and one of those kids for that niece, ended up having a pretty decent job in Jamaica. Now, it's at the time it was one of those looked upon jobs, right? But in the public eye, but in the back end, a lot of those jobs that seems to be glorified, like, say for example a bank teller, you were just it just looked glorified on the outside, but then really they weren't making a lot of money on the back end. They just look pretty being bank tellers and stuff. Well, anyways, that that niece's daughter wanted something better for herself, and she decided that she wanted to go away to the US to study so that she could have you know try and get ahead to have a better life than what she was having in Jamaica. Now, when she told her mom, her mom went and then eventually told that aunt. Of course, for some reason, I guess that aunt didn't think that the niece's daughter should try and make something better for herself, by going overseas, because that way, you know, she would amount to something. And no, it's only her kids must be doing well in the family. Anyways, she convinced her niece to tell her daughter not to go away, to stay in the job that she had in Jamaica. And mark you, the niece's daughter was single, had no boyfriend, had no kids. She was free, single, and disengaged, right? So there was nothing there to stop her from going overseas. This aunt tells the mom, no, 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 tell her, why are you going to let her go away to the US? She needs to stay in Jamaica in that job because she has a good job. Mark you, when the niece told her daughter was livid because she was like, I'm free, single, and disengaged, and if I want to go away to study, then nobody should be able to stop me. That's what she said. Now, eventually, a position came up. Well, the niece's daughter did apply to go away to the States, but then she had changed her mind because of certain living conditions. She didn't want to go and stay with relatives, and at the time, she just didn't think, financially she was ready, as well as the living conditions. Also, she got a promotion at her job in Jamaica, so she decided to stay at that job. Only to find out, so that aunt has three kids, as I mentioned before, one of which was a daughter. That daughter was in a good job in Jamaica, was married, and at the time had one child. Only to find out shortly thereafter that daughter wanted to go away to the United States also to study. Now, with her going away to study, she would be leaving her job, her husband, and her child in Jamaica, and then she goes away by herself to study. Of course, her mom saw no issues with that, and she had no problem with her daughter doing that. Now, do you guys see the hypocrisy in this situation? On one hand, her niece's daughter was free, single, disengaged, and wanted to go away to the States to go to school so that she could have a better education and, eventually help her mom. While she had a daughter who was married, had a good job, and had a kid. But she didn't see anything wrong with the daughter going away to school in the United States and leaving her family behind. What do you guys think of this? Do you think this aunt had some sort of ill will toward her niece's child or family members? Or is she just misunderstood? And have you guys experienced any family members who stay like this? Leave your comments in the comment section, and please remember to like, share, and subscribe to this channel.